Plays it crisply and quickly.
Well, that's always good. I'd like to see competent players with even complicated decks, or decks with a lot of decisions. On the other side, Adam Turk playing Omnitel as you can see right there on the screen. Geez, thanks for ruining the surprise, Shoebox. Now, Omnitel is a deck we have not seen yet today, but we've seen the similar kind of things happening. People just trying to put Gristlebrand or Emrakul into play. I mean, those are the big
cheating, really. That's
yeah, basically these decks just want to cheat. Turn 1 Ponder from Adam Turk, and he's going to get the cheating underway. Not actual cheating, by the way. I don't want to be like, yeah, now he's cheating. He's just drawing extra cards. He's not going to put anything back. He's just going to keep them.
Adam Turk, I believe, has also seen a little bit of Open Series success. I think he has one top 8. It's possible more, or that I'm misremembering, but I think he's got one.
And Ponder finishes resolving, yeah.
And draws an Ancient Tomb. So he has the potential, if he's got a Show and Tell in his hand, to have a turn 2 Omniscience.
Oh, Matt wants to see what's going on over there, so he plays Thoughtseize. And, well, I think we're going to have to see what the cat in that bag looks like if Adam doesn't force it.
He's debating forcing it.
And he does force. Didn't see what he removed there?
I'm sure it's his second Omniscience. That seems most likely.
It looks like it, yep. He actually apparently came in 12th in Atlanta with Omnitel. So, yeah, trying to make more of a dent this weekend. And a Ponder from Matt to follow up that Thoughtseize.
Keeps and draws Brainstorm. He looks a little vulnerable here. He doesn't have much going on. Sword, snap, Brainstorm.
Yeah.
There's some intimidation factor to keeping a Ponder in this situation, though. When you know what you're up against and you have just seen your opponent defend, you can kind of hope that maybe he's just not going to do it to you.
Well, Adam's going to do it. He plays the Show and Tell, turn 2 here, off of an Ancient Tomb. And Matt's going to have to let that resolve. And he does. And he plays nothing, an Omniscience from Adam Turk. And surprise, Gristlebrand.
I think he's going to draw 7 cards.
I think he is too. Looks like he thinks so too. So I think you should pay some life for that, though.
Yeah, that will put him down to 12.
Relatively safe and at the moment.
Looks like he hit another couple Show and Tells. He has a spare Gristlebrand in there. So yeah, he seems to be in fine shape.
He certainly does. I wouldn't want to be Matt right now. I don't even know how Matt comes back from this. I'm going to just draw 7 more.
He is missing a combo kill or a counterspell, which he just found both of those in Burning Wish and Force of Will. And Emrakul.
So Adam's holding over 30 cards? No,
I imagine he's just going to go for the Emrakul, which will, that's Matt packing.
Okay.
Obviously, there were some other hijinks he could do there. He has Burning Wish to go get a variety of things, principally Petals of Insight for the combo kill. But Emrakul for 22 damage on his 3rd turn of the game will wrap things up nicely.
Yeah, that'll do it. And you mentioned Matt looking very vulnerable. Just a couple of Swords to Plowshares, a couple of Snapcasters, and Brainstorm. Tapped out. Brainstorm couldn't even respond with Brainstorm there to just hope to find something. But just unable to do it. And sometimes that's how these combo decks work. They put it together fast enough to where you just don't have time to interact.
Yeah, Adam's opening hand, very, very strong. I don't know if he had an Ancient Tomb or if I know the Ponder found him 1 Ancient Tomb, maybe he had 2, but he for sure kept that, and Ancient Tomb, Show and Tell, anything, and a Force of Will with a blue card is pretty good stuff.
And that was huge because Matt had the Thoughtseize there. So not only did Adam need a great start, he needed a way to defend it, and he had it.
So moving over to the sideboard, Matt has some stuff. He's going to be bringing in for sure his Venser Shaper Savant, definitely his Detention Sphere. He'll bring in those 2 Cabal Therapies he's packing. There's some other options. His additional Force of Will likely coming in, Flusterstorm likely coming in, maybe not all 3, but certainly
just some
of them. It kind of depends on how much he can board out.
Right.
I think he can probably board out a fair bit. He's got all those swords, he's got Lingering Souls, which aren't great. He really just needs to stop the bad things from happening to him.
Right, yeah. It keeps stopping the bad things from happening until he can, win with, like, Jace or Vendilion Click.
Another potential addition, he can bring in his Geist of St. Traps. If he leads with a discard spell, can see the coast is clear for him to tap out, he can tap out on turn 3 for a Geist of St. Traft, and that'll sew up the game faster than any other card in his deck.
Yeah, just denying his opponent's draw steps, gonna help keep the combo off the table just as well. Sideboard for Adam, as you saw, he's got Burning Wish, 4 copies in the main deck, so a lot of this board is meant just to be wished for. So I don't imagine he changes very much. He's got 3 copies of Red Elemental Blast that I imagine he would like to have access to, and a couple of Vendilion Clicks. I'm not sure he really wants those against Matt. It's not a bad card, it's just not necessarily what he needs.
I think it's a lot better against the blue-white Stoneblade decks than it is against Esper Stoneblade. The presence of discard means that your Vendilion Click can actually fail to protect your combo. If they're just sitting there Thoughtseizing and Inquisitioning you, and then you're casting a 3/1 Flash Flyer, that's not really where you want to be. You'd rather be like Pondering or Preordaining to try and get set back up again.
Right.
So I think that the red blasts are going to probably come in. Again, they're actually like not as insane as they seem because they don't defend against the most relevant cards, which are Thoughtseizes.
Yeah, the discard spells.
But you know, when it comes down to a Force of Will fight, which it tends to come down to in Show and Tell versus Control matchups, Red Blast is a pretty sizable game.
All right. I like. I love seeing the wish board kind of thing. I used to play that a lot in Standard, usually with like Living Wish, but it's always a fun kind of option to have. So it's kind of neat to see it in Legacy. Usually Burning Wish being the wish. Sometimes Cunning Wish and like the High Tide.
Right. Wishes are interesting. They obviously haven't repeated them really. The exception being Glittering Wish for a gold card, but it's a very interesting mechanic, and it's kind of strange because you can't overdo it or it stops being special.
Right.
And you certainly don't want like a lot of them floating around in the same format, such as Legacy, where people can just start playing with 75 card decks effectively.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's definitely what it feels like when you've got you've got 3 of every important creature in your deck and 4 Living Wish, so that you essentially feel like you have 7 of every important creature. And that's of course Living Wish, but Burning Wish it applies to as well. And yeah, it's a kind of cool mechanic though, and I like the flavor of it too, feeling like wishing for something outside of the game.
It looks like both players have kept here, I think.
Yeah, or Matt is still considering.
He's debating.
But no, he's good. So, Flooded Strand on turn 1 and a pass. He looks fairly vulnerable this time too. It looks like a lot of lands.
He has a Thoughtseize, a Brainstorm, but one of his lands is Caracas, which is an excellent defense, as we've noted, against the legendary creatures of the deck.
Yeah,
it is not a great defense against the Omniscience kill, however, which can very easily just dig up Burning Wish, Petals of Insight, boom.
And a Ponder from Adam Turk. Keeps it, draws, I believe, a land.
Yep.
And there's that Geist of St. Traft you mentioned. So you might be, be onto something with the I'm going to Thoughtseize and then see if the coast is clear and then play Geist of St. Traft. So first Matt's going to Brainstorm. Sees Cabal Therapy, a land, and what was that middle card?
I believe it was just another land. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I think he's just got Cabal Therapy and lands there. He has a fetch land, and note that he did cast the Brainstorm before cracking the fetch land for Thoughtseize, which is important. He wasn't necessarily so much digging for ways to force his Thoughtseize through, although, if you happen to find Force in a blue card in the Brainstorm, that might matter.
Right.
But he certainly wants to go ahead and shuffle away the clunker of a hand he kept, which was basically just a Thoughtseize and a Brainstorm.
Yeah. And there's that Thoughtseize. So Adam shows it to him. We've got Brainstorm, Burning Wish, Force of Will, Preordain, Emrakul, Preordain, and Volcanic Island. Yep. That is a heck of a hand there.
It's a strong one. It's interesting to see what Matt's going to take. I imagine he's going to want to take the Burning Wish.
That would be my first consideration.
That said, with Cabal Therapy in his hand, there are some incentives to not taking it, because if you know your opponent's just going to spend the next turn Burning Wishing, and you're going to spend the next turn Cabal Therapying for whatever he gets.
That's
not such a bad deal.
Very good point. Also, juicy. You feel like you want to name Cabal Therapy, seeing those double Preordains there. You want to name Preordain, sorry.
I imagine that is what he's going to go for. The problem is Adam's very likely to cast one of them this turn. Probably cast one. If it finds a fetch land, then he would play the fetch land and be like waiting for Brainstorm. Otherwise, he's probably just Preordaining twice anyway.
Yeah, so there's that Preordain. And I definitely see Show and Tell there. He's We don't know what the other card was, but one of them was Show and Tell.
Note that he immediately slid the other card to the top.
Yes.
That's because he's going to be hiding it, hiding a Show and Tell from
Right.
a discard spell on Matt's next turn.
Right, setting it up so that he doesn't have the Show and Tell when he doesn't need it, but he has it soon.
Yep.
Thereafter.
Which means he now will not be playing his Preordain.
Yeah.
Which is also an immediate tip-off to Matt as to what the top of the deck very likely is.
Yeah, he says go, and
Matt's no fool. He knows what that probably means. I know that you have a Preordain in your hand, and you just don't want to cast
he
it.
just didn't cast it, so I'm gonna. Oh, he got an Inquisition as well. So he's got Inquisition and Cabal Therapy now in hand. Of course, Inquisition on the stack.
It'll be interesting to see what he does here. He can't take Force of Will, and it's very likely he should be Cabal Therapying Emrakul, actually, in order to avoid getting it shown on him next turn. Unless his plan is to just play the Caracas and pass, which is also very reasonable.
So we've got a Brainstorm from Adam.
It looks like he picked up Brainstorm Show, I think.
Yeah, didn't get a good look. We know the top card was Show and Tell. Now we have no idea. So looks like it was a couple of Brainstorms. So now Inquisition resolves, and you've got Brainstorm, Force of Will,
Emrakul, Preordain.
Okay.
Yep. And the Ancient
Tomb. Yeah.
Okay, so I think Matt here probably just has to take one of the Brainstorms, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean,
or you could take something. I mean, if he has a black mana source, take the Preordain now.
Too.
Cabal Therapy naming Brainstorm. Yeah, there it is.
Okay, but now he can't play his Caracas, but however, the Emrakul can't attack him, so yeah, I think actually this is obviously much
he's
better.
just completely emptying his opponent's hand.
He's right now just casting this Cabal Therapy. Adam's got the choice of forcing it, which basically means he has the choice of losing Forcible Brainstorm or losing Brainstorm.
Yeah.
Obviously, Matt not excited to give his opponent such choices, but hey, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Either way, he'll be able to resolve Geist of St. Traff next turn and also play Caracas to bounce the Emrakul, assuming Adam goes for it.
So Adam,
I find likely.
Yeah. Adam decides he wants that Brainstorm more than he wants the Force of Will. Pretty much a useless Force of Will because it was going to have no blue cards left in his hand besides that one. And he draws, it looks like a Vendilion Click off the top. So we know Show and Tell, it must be the next card.
Assuming it was there, it is possible we missaw.
No, I'm almost
positive.
I mean, I guess I just don't want to say I'm 100% positive, but I'm 100% positive I saw Show and Tell. I could be wrong. So Geist of St. Traff from Matt Hoey.
This is I don't know. Matt's being a little cagey here by holding up that Delta instead of playing his Caracas.
Yeah. And
we missed a Caracas. Unless he brainstormed that.
That must be what he did. Okay, so.
Or we just saw that wrong.
Yes,
I don't think I did, though.
I thought I saw Caracas, but maybe it wasn't. There's the Show and Tell.
Yep.
And there's the Emrakul. So Vendilion Click, swinging in for 3. Matt now untaps, down a game, facing down Emrakul and Vendilion Click. He does have Geist of St. Traff, which is looking pretty weak compared to that Emrakul.
It looks like we missaw a card. He doesn't have a Caracas.
Yeah.
I don't know what card it would have been, though, so that's kind of peculiar.
Possibly the dual land there. It's the only one that looks
at
all like Caracas. But I think maybe it's possible.
I think it was a land he shuffled away. And I am sure
be.
He did not shuffle away a Caracas, so it must have simply been a different land. Oh well. Snapcaster brainstorming, now certainly looking for a Caracas.
And he doesn't find it. He has no answer. And Adam Turk with Omnitel in 13 minutes takes down Matt Hoey with Esper Stoneblade. And that was kind of an interesting little chess match to watch. And I think
Matt commending Adam on his draws here. He's like, man, those hands were so good. And they were. Like, they were all action, exactly enough mana to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
He had disruption, he had protection, he just had everything.
Adam played that very well too. I mean, he got hit by Thoughtseize, followed immediately by Inquisition, and then a Cabal Therapy for a good chunk of his hand, and he still just he still had it. He played it well. He hid his Show and Tells, the cards he needed. He hid them in the right place.
Apparently, someone on Twitter